absolute best.
Yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, could be Wayne!
I think I got my swagger back. Oh!
I love it, baby!
Them orange britches. Something about them orange britches.
Tennessee wins! By Tennessee, Jawan Jennings. Jennings makes the catch.
Ball hit high in the air into right field. Going back is Sayre. And Tennessee can say hello, win column. A grand slam in the bottom of the ninth. You can't draw it up any better.
We just won a basketball game, and we're very happy right now. McGrath for the win. He got it. If you don't like college football and you watch this one, I'm not sure what your problem is.
Reddit did to do, and welcome into More Important Issues. You can't see us yet. That is planned. This is a radio show. Reddit did to do. Welcome into More Important Issues. It is Sunday, November 8th. The volunteers on the right side of history. This civil conflict was won by your Tennessee Volunteers. Good day in Neyland, man. And we've stress-free. This is our first game of this year with a noon game that I was excited for. That Virginia noon, 11 Central, just sucked. And being in Nashville, taking forever to get out of traffic and get home, just made it less fun. Yesterday, just a good noon game. Woke up, did a little tailgating, just enough to get you going. You go in, you take care of business, you get out, and you're back in home in time for the 3:30 games. I mean, Landon, is there a better football Saturday in the South than the one that took place yesterday?
I didn't need it yesterday, but it did make me realize like how much I do love football.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's like my favorite thing in the whole entire world.
Yeah, absolutely. And good. I'm glad you realized that.
Yeah. Like I feel like I take it for granted sometimes, but
okay.
Yesterday I just really appreciated just how much I love football.
You just enjoyed it. You just soaked it all in.
Also, I won every single bet that I put in, so that was awesome.
I'm glad you had a fun day there because I just got screwed at every turn. So,
I didn't do a lot of my locks. Didn't love any of them. The only one I loved was the Alabama one, and that hit. So, cool. Yeah, we're in.
Oh, ignore that one. Sorry. Well, I didn't get that pleasure, but I'm glad some of us did. I hope everybody enjoyed their Saturday the way I did. It was a very good one. Can we just please continue doing games that don't matter at noon? That's all I ask. It's amazing. Nothing against playing UTSA at 7, 6. No, that was a 5 p.m. game, right? Austin P was a 5 p.m. like weird times. Yeah, I love tailgating all day. I do, but I just don't need the build up for those games. Let's get them over with. Get me home in time to be on the couch for the good games.
Yeah, put me in a good mood early.
Boom. There you go. It's all about mood.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about this UConn game. I know there's really, obviously we'll talk about some of the exciting things that happened. I think that's a big thing for this game. Not that, Tennessee obviously won those other ones. It wasn't a rehashing of the 2019 season, but it just didn't carry the same excitement as these smaller games that you'd like. UConn did that for you. So got that out of the way. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk a little bit about that, talk some week 10 in college football. It's crazy that we're already at week 10. Things are starting to matter now. Not that said, they remember what you do in November and Landon pushed back on that, but college football playoff, maybe that seems all they look at is what happens late in the year. So things matter now. Talk a little basketball. Basketball's tomorrow, baby. I'm going to be in Thompson Bowling Arena for it, and I'm pretty fired up. You think the Vol Shop has Zakiah Ziegler jerseys? I've always wanted one, and him getting the officially playing tomorrow.
What's awesome is I do have a 5.
You do?
No, I don't. Maybe I do. No, I think I have a Schofield one, but it says Schofield. I do have a 2 from Grant that just is 2. So
gotcha. In like the new,
the
new old Grant style.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want one of those. Yeah, I guess it doesn't actually be better if it didn't have Zakiah, so I could wear all the number 5s that have been before him as well. No, nothing against him. It's a great number.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to rep them all.
Yeah. Kamal Haddon.
Yeah. If you got any questions, drop them in the chat. We'll get to those as soon as we can. Talk a little ball or whatever you want to talk about. We'll listen. You guys know us.
Yeah.
We'll do it all.
Yeah.
Do it all. And then of course our as always our segments, if I can think of it. Before we do that though, I do want to tell you guys about our good friends over at Underdog. Underdog is Knoxville's best sports collectible store with a wide selection of UT cards, autographs, and memorabilia. Whether you're looking for a Peyton Manning autographed helmet or the most recent Topps baseball card release, you'll find it at Underdog. The shop is owned by UT graduates and proudly supports UT sports by hosting NIL events throughout the year. I do need to note, it's not just Tennessee stuff. I know they kind of mention it. I mean, obviously we're trying to appeal to our listeners. There's a ton of great Tennessee stuff in there, but a ton of great NFL, MLB memorabilia, anything you can kind of think of, they probably got it.
Yeah.
You need to go check them out. Their store's expanded to do even more than just sports. That store's been expanded lately. That was their move from their original location. So anything and everything you can want, you can find at Underdog. Stop by the 640 Plaza at 4452 Western Avenue in Knoxville. They're open 6 days a week with live YouTube shows, 3 nights per week. Remember, always bet on the Underdog. Shout out to Underdog Sports.
Shout out. I do, before we get into UConn, because that's probably going to be our meat of our show. I do want to just start it off by Josh Dobbs, dog.
I got someone's take that I think isn't. He's a Vols homer, but he's not. Like, I definitely have darker tinted sunglasses than he does. Mm-hmm. So I was like, Arizona, why did they release Josh Dobbs or trade him? Not really. Sorry, because they're tanking. He's too good and they're tanking. And I was like, all right, just wanted to confirm that. Make sure that wasn't just me thinking that. Josh Dobbs wins football games.
Yeah, and I don't know if the Vikings thought they were going to try to do the same thing, and then he won the game without even taking like an offensive snap in practice.
I don't think
wild to me.
Yeah, I don't think you acquire Josh Dobbs in a trade to tank. I think they want to win football games.
Yeah. You just I don't know what the record is.
Arizona did a tanking move, a quarterback that's
right.
winning football games. They traded.
They want the number 1 pick. The Vikings aren't going to get the number 1 pick.
Right. So I don't think the Vikings are in that situation at all. I think
it was definitely a need at quarterback. Yeah. I don't know who their backup quarterback was before Josh Dobbs.
And don't get me wrong, it was a bit of a Hail Mary, like you mentioned, but Josh Dobbs, he knows Hail Marys.
He does. Seen it firsthand.
Better than Tim Tebow at Hail Marys?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Tim Tebow can't throw.
Yeah, but he knows how to pray.
On who?
On who?
Yeah. Who does he pray on?
Are there allegations I'm not aware of?
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Just making sure. I mean, all the news that's come out, man, you never know.
Yeah.
I just want to check.
No one's safe. So, I mean, if he is preying on somebody, it's going to come out.
Probably. Shout out to social media.
The Vikings now have a winning record, so I guess they're still in the playoff race, kind of. They're 5-4. So,
and they have a quarterback now.
They do.
I like Kirk Cousins. I'm sorry.
He was my fantasy quarterback, so that did kind of suck. But
did you pick up Josh Dobbs?
I might.
Would you like Patrick Mahomes or Tua?
Yeah, I'm not willing to. I have Joe Burrow, so I'm not willing to trade anybody.
Oh, well, you made it sound like you were like screwed with Kirk Cousins getting hurt.
Well, I mean,
Joe's just coming like around from his injury. Like you just traded one injury for another.
Kirk was like the number 4 quarterback in fantasy, so I was riding with
you in like
Kirk
3 and 5 or whatever they're ranked. They're highly ranked. I just don't know who to start, and they switch out weeks sucking. So I did start the correct one today, but he only got 15 points. So it hurts. All right, let's talk UConn. Let's get into it, and let's start out with saying, what is UConn doing? You go to a stadium that you're getting paid to come play in, and then you talk trash. And listen, maybe Tennessee fans or Tennessee players started it. I don't know. But when they tell you to go to your side of the field, you take your $1 million, you laugh, and you walk to the other side of the field. That's what you do. Your scholarship's being funded by this game. Go to the other side of the field. And then Jim Mora, I don't know what was said. I don't know if it was about running up the score. I don't know. But if I'm Josh Heupel, I'm letting Navy Schuler try to score a touchdown. I'm not running anything crazy. I'm running our playbook. And if Navy Schuler scores, good for Navy Schuler. He's not going to get a lot of those opportunities.
Yeah, we ran our offense. It's how we run. Like the tempo is how we run our offense. It wasn't like we were speeding up to like go score a touchdown before time ran out. He was literally running the offense. So if he's got a problem with that, I mean, if you were any good at coaching, you'd still be in the NFL. How about that?
Yeah, that was I just like that. I like that Tennessee just had a drama-filled game for no reason. Just good, like what do they do? Kentucky at least makes sense why they did what they did. Was it a clown show? Sure. But it makes sense. Try to get yourself fired up. You can't win that game. So
actually,
talking.
I appreciate that. If that's what it takes
Honestly.
for Tennessee to just go out and win football games, Missouri, I hope you do the exact same thing.
I think the away tunnel, we should like put it in front of the home team tunnel. So even if teams don't do that, they kind of have to do that.
Yeah.
And we get that pump up.
Yeah.
We got to restructure how we have teams run out.
We got to whoever's leading the team, there's an assistant coach that usually leads them to the area that they run out from the locker room. Maybe we intentionally get him to go.
Just make a wrong turn in the hits of meals. Just a wrong turn.
And just convince everybody that hey, they took your tunnel.
Yeah. I like that.
Oh, yeah.
I like that. We got to work on that. But man, I mean, it was nice, just calm game. Jalen Wright, my freaking word. What a start.
Second play.
And he was close on the first play. No, but maybe not to score, and I can't guarantee that, but he was close to busting it open on the first play.
Yeah, safety's not great in run fit, but I do enjoy having a running back that gets to the second level, and you can just see in the open field how much ground he's surpassing those defenders. It's awesome.
I know you're throwing some fun stats out, and I'm not trying to take away from Jalen Wright. It may sound like I am. I saw you throwing some stuff out today. 9 different players, 10 if you count Gaston Moore getting sacked. 9 different players registered rushes for Tennessee.
Shout out Gaston Moore.
Yeah. And listen, I saw you tweet about it too. You wanted more snaps from Nico, but Landon, that would have taken away snaps from what I consider the QB1 of Tennessee football, and that's Gaston Moore.
Yeah. And since I would like to see him play more, I kind of get why you didn't, in a way.
I don't think he necessarily. I think you're only. The argument I'll hear is you only get so many snaps available to you. I just don't know how much more he would have gained. I think he got a good quality look, speed, and feel. I don't know how much more you gain.
Yeah,
I think at that point he'd gotten to throw the ball 9 times, run the ball a couple times. I don't think it diminishes by any means, but I don't know how greater your return is if you continue.
Yeah, I think at that point it was getting to where hey, we need to put people that are never going to see the field.
And I think it's good for your program to do that too.
Yeah.
To get Gaston and Navy Schuler. And I'm not just talking about quarterbacks, other positions, but I think it's good for your program too to get those guys.
Yeah, I don't know how much it helps Nico to play with Hunter Salmon and Jack Jancic. No offense to those guys, but what does that really benefit Nico for running the offense with those guys? When he was in, they ran it was this. Most of the starting offensive line, Ramel Keaton was in, Squirrel was in, Dante Thornton was in, guys that are going to play a significant amount for you this year and probably next year as well. So I thought it was good to kind of sprinkle some starters and some key players in with Nico. And then, when you kind of got to the point where it's let's take these guys out too, we're going to go ahead and switch out quarterbacks also.
Yeah, I think it was operated well. It was good to get to see him get that playing time that you feel like was really missed in where you didn't play exceptionally well earlier in the season against these kind of opponents. So it was good to get a day like that. Might have one more chance. I won't speak too soon. Not next week. I do want to know, this isn't moot point, but just curious. Do you think Joe gets one more drive in the second half before the defense just rattles off 2 touchdowns?
Yeah, maybe. And maybe that kept Nico from, having 3 drives instead of 2.
Yeah. I hope they would have given Joe one more. I feel like you come out in the second half, you let the offense run how it runs, and then, take it to the house. But then your defense just hit Jalen McCullough in the hands. That was pretty hilarious.
Yeah, around the chest. Yeah, what a job by the defense. That first drive I was a little concerned. But I think 35 yards of that drive was penalty yards. So I guess that's a concern in itself. But yeah, the defense bowed up there at in that first drive, only giving up 3 points and probably could have been a touchdown. There was some penalties down there next to the goal line, but stuffed them. And then that's kind of all they had from that point on was just, that trick play, a few slants here and there, but nothing really big to get any points or anything like that.
Right. I'm glad you mentioned that goal line situation. I'm all for booing the refs when they suck. Can we just not look dumb, fans, when one of our guy rips someone's helmet off by the face mask and then throws it 15 yards? Like, let's just not boo that one. Like, let's not boo the obvious ones.
Hey, boo them all. I'm for it.
You're
not going to give us anything. Just boo them all.
No, because it's hard to argue the stupid point because you can't convince people we're just booing the refs to boo the refs. They're going to think we're booing that penalty call.
I'm booing them until they fix.
They still sucked yesterday, by the way. I love how Alabama fans are like, I don't see you talking about the refs when you all stomp UConn. I'm like, brother, wait till I get on a microphone. I'm still going to complain about these officials. They sucked.
Yeah.
Have you watched the replay yet? I haven't seen the double pass. It looked like a true double pass both forward.
It's awkward for sure. I did rewatch the game today.
When I went to look this morning before church, I didn't see Valfreak had done it yet. Now it's popping up on my YouTube though.
Yeah, it was on there.
Oh, maybe I just couldn't find it initially.
Shout out Valfreak for
Valfreak, man, for real.
Yeah, it's not. I guess they got a big gain out of it, but it's very awkwardly ran.
Yeah, and it's not the end of the world. I just want to point out how bad the officials are.
Yeah,
that's the goal of my argument there. I just felt like initially it looked forward, and then on replay it looked like if you use the hash marks, which I would think you do, I would think that's why you paint them. It looked like it was a forward pass, but I don't know, man. I don't know.
Can't fall asleep, especially a bye game. Like, teams are going to do that to you. It's funny that we kind of do that in bye games too. You remember the Princeton Fant?
Yeah, it feels like our trick plays come out then.
Yeah. It's just like getting them to prepare for something.
Hey, just give them a look, baby.
We talked about it before. Is like Jeremy Pruitt used an onside kick at least like every 2 games. Has Josh Heupel ever did an onside kick? Like not
when it wasn't like required. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about that. That's a good question.
But we did have the like fake. It wasn't really like trickery a little bit, but the fake quarterback draw.
Yeah,
pop past.
I'm not convinced Nico
Gaskins
didn't just do that by himself though.
Hey, follow me. It worked.
It just looks so awkward that I'm not convinced that wasn't a quarterback call.
Yeah,
himself.
Shoot, if he called that yourself,
yeah, I surely he didn't.
He might coach one day because that safety came up 3 yards.
I'm also pretty sure we had. I'm pretty sure we had an illegal man downfield there.
You think?
It looked like he was like more than 3 yards downfield.
I don't know.
I'll have to go back and watch it again, but when I watched it the first time, I was like, "Oh, yikes!"
Actually, I'm more impressed with the offensive linemen if they're able to get down the field that far in that amount of time.
I feel like it took him. He ran a fake draw and then
it was just like a step and then throw it.
feel
Unless he
like
didn't
you're-
have anybody in front of him.
I feel like you're heavily discrediting our offensive line here.
I
Their,
feel
their
like you just
speed,
try
their
to make
quickness.
us
Landon,
say
they
we
played in this
cheated.
Josh.
You say we cheated.
Is that cheating?
If you
Or is that just a mistake?
I don't know. I guess is that a
Does you gain anything by your offensive lineman running 3 yards downfield on a 7-yard pass?
I mean, if maybe he's gonna lead block for the pass.
So now you're saying he is fast. I'm so confused, Landon. You have put me in a just mind pretzel.
I don't know.
How fast is
I
he?
did not notice any lineman downfield.
It was one of those that it's one of those that's like probably happens very often. It just shocks me that Tennessee doesn't get called for it on a touchdown. Because it probably was in the territory of being really close to an illegal man downfield. I'll go watch it again in a second. I'm very interested in this double pass right now because I didn't see it. That was really the one play I wanted to watch really badly. Because I just felt like it was that bad of a call.
Yeah. Also, Ramel Keaton. I mean, I have no clue how in the world you get like usually when somebody like you see busted coverage, like somebody sees it and
Starts running after him.
Yeah. I mean, there's no one within 40 yards. It's incredible.
So I can't tell who it is in that shot. There is an offensive lineman at between the he's almost on the like 15, maybe 16-yard line there. So he's at least 3 yards downfield.
Yeah.
Is that right? We're on the 20? Yeah. And I can't tell who it is. I don't know what the rule is in college football, though, either, exactly. Is it 3 yards? You're good at 3?
I think so, yeah.
So he's probably good then.
Yeah.
Because of the NFL, it's not 3.
Who knows? I mean, the officials wouldn't be able to tell you anyway, so it doesn't matter.
No, they just make up a rule. So they do know. They just you don't know what they know.
Right. But man, Joe Milton played really well again yesterday. I mean, that's 3 games in a row, and I know, Landon, it was Kentucky and UConn. I mean, yeah, but we can't say like Nico looked good against UConn, and Joe's supposed to do that against UConn. I mean,
True. It's a good point.
We can't do that. I mean, let's
And
give Joe some credit. He's been playing
just-
well these last couple weeks.
Yeah, and just because you say he looked good doesn't mean you're like he looked fantastic. Like he's incredible. You're just saying
He's
he
him.
he looked good. He's looking better each week than he has previous weeks. Like that, those can all still stand without putting a ton of weight on who the opponent was.
Yeah, he's playing at a high level right now, and I think him making plays with his legs is really helping this offense hum. I think it's it's something Tennessee's offense was missing from last year coming into this year was just the quarterback being able to utilize his legs. And when Joe started doing that, it seemed like it's opening up everything else. Yesterday, it seems like the wide receivers were within sync with Joe.
Yeah.
And that's when you hit on big plays.
I
Stuff
thought
like that happens.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that too. I thought the wide receivers looked very comfortable with Nico as well.
Yeah.
I think Nico looks much improved, and I know it wasn't much of a sample size against Virginia, but I think he looks much improved from week 1 as well.
Yeah. And I know UConn's not good, but I do think they'd probably beat Austin Peay. They should at least. And Tennessee kind of struggled with them. So
Who talks the most trash in that matchup?
I don't know. Probably, I guess UConn. UConn is willing to just. Hey, good for them. I guess they're willing to fight. They're not just laying down at 1-8 now.
They're fighters, baby.
Yeah.
Them Huskies.
I mean, they're fighting just like South Carolina.
Hey, they enjoyed that one last night.
Oh, they're still celebrating. I heard.
I like that there is an element we've kind of talked about how like coaches can't win jobs in press conferences, but they can 100% lose jobs. I don't think South Carolina should think about firing Shane Beamer, but he's going to make everybody in that fan base hate him before it's all said and done.
Oh yeah. I mean, all the like outlets that cover South Carolina, just everything he says, Like that one quote he has in the entire press conference that is just so idiotic, and just asks the question like, "Why would you say that?" They like tweet it out immediately.
Right. Okay, hand up. I'm watching it right now. I believe it was at least a lateral pass. Looks like he throws it from about the. Oh, I don't know.
It's close.
It's close, and it's hard because of where the bodies end up. It looks potentially lateral.
Did they say stands? I can't remember when they.
I think they did. They just
couldn't tell.
Right, and it's very close. It looks like he releases it about the 31, or I guess that would be the 29 or 28.5 yard line.
Yeah,
and he catches it. It looks like it's hard because it's in the middle of the field, so it's hard to use the hashes. They're away from the hashes, but using the hashes in their body, it looks like he catches it about the 28.5, and he throws it from the 28.5, and he catches it about 28.5. You couldn't overturn it. I'm wrong. You couldn't overturn it.
Yeah.
Good little draw up. We'll give that one to you, Jim Morrow. You got one over on us.
And that pass to Squirrel, seed.
Yeah,
I mean,
they were
just beautiful.
I just like that we were just able to complete like a very simple just play. Like guy runs, catches it.
And it was over the middle. Like we had a lot of over the middle passes, and that's something we haven't had a lot of so far this year.
Yeah, no, I think it's kind of frustrating. I'm hoping this kind of propels us, and I think your next 2 weeks are going to be tough for a variety of different reasons. But your next 2 weeks are going to be really, really challenging. But they're also going to be, these are big games. Like we want to joke about the Super Bowl. Let's make these 2 games our Super Bowl. We got 2 Super Bowls back to back. Let's go. Like I want Missouri fans to accuse us of winning our Super Bowl next week. Like that's how fired up fans are. The team is. This is our Super Bowl because in the sense of Tennessee doesn't necessarily control their own destiny. Things need to happen. But if you can go win, like you put yourself in a really, really good position for things to fall in place and fall your way. So these 2 games are huge. I feel like if Austin Peay looks like this, I feel so much better going into Florida.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I know it's UConn. I'm not putting a ton of weight, but like that, the things that happened yesterday, especially offensively, because like defensively, I think that's just like that defense is just scrappy. Like that's stuff that happens when defenses are scrappy and against teams like UConn. But the offense clicking on all cylinders just gives me a lot of faith in which way this offense is moving. And I think you face a pretty tough test next week in Missouri's defensive line. And so you need those, especially like the timing stuff. Like you need that stuff to start clicking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And they have a good secondary too. I think that same secondary that was there last year returns. Chris Abrams-Drain, Joseph Charleston. They got some good defenders, so it's going to be difficult on our wide receivers to get open. And obviously Joe Milton's got to hit them. So, but man, if we keep running the ball like we do, and I don't know if there's, I hope it's true on Saturday, but I do think there is something different about this week for Josh Heupel. Just like I think that week of Vanderbilt for the baseball team, that week in Kentucky with basketball, it's just a little different.
Okay. You don't think he likes Missouri?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I mean, the amount of points he's put up in the past 2 games tells me that he does not respect them at all.
Okay.
And I love
Interesting. Yeah. I mean, I would love for him to be looking at a 66 to 24. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Last year before 62 to 24, 22, something like that. I don't know. A lot of points. Would love to see that. I mean, hey, if we get to see Nico in back-to-back weeks, your boy will be excited.
Exactly. Yeah. And I don't want to hear anything about the red shirt ever again. Who cares?
What a dumb thing to even discuss, honestly. I mean, yeah, in a perfect world, but like I hope Nico's good enough that he was going to leave after whether he was a redshirted or not after his junior year.
Yeah.
Like that's what you want in your best quarterback. Obviously, he stays around and because the team's good and he sees maybe he wants to win championships. I'll love it. But I expect, especially in today's age, like you get a chance to go be a first round draft pick, you go.
Just keep popping out quarterbacks, baby.
Yeah, I mean, Arch Manning might be in the portal. You could redshirt him.
Might be, yeah. I mean, we'll just redshirt everybody.
Why not?
4 games.
What if we just refuse to play like this season, redshirt everyone, and then just come back next season like after a year of practice?
Yeah.
Just play JV games.
like college football is a grind anyway for 4 years. That's a lot. And to get another year, 5, like I didn't want to do it. And some people do want to do it, but I just wanted to be done. Like my body couldn't take it anymore. And I didn't even play that much. So,
Well, if Nico wants a 5th, I'll support it.
yeah. Hopefully he does it Peyton Manning and just comes back, but he could have got drafted really high.
Yeah, no, we haven't seen much of Nico, so yesterday was very, very promising. It was nice to see. And then, hey, we got to see all the guys, and that's the bonus. Like, I'm happy to see Cam Seldon getting to run the ball. Love that.
Yeah, got to see a lot of young guys. They haven't.
You got to see D. Williams on offense.
We did. What?
I mean, not a whole lot, but we got to see D. Williams on offense, and Devin just mentioned that as well. Like I love that.
Got to see the ball in his hands. Yeah.
We talked about this at the game, the guys I sat with. It's just one of those things. It's kind of frustrating. I'm not saying he's, one of our better DBs or anything. Like, I don't know. I'm not saying he'd be one of our best wide receivers. I don't know. You just think a guy that dynamic, that fast, that good at one area of football, surely you can find somewhere where you can use him to your advantage, other than just the return game, which requires a lot of factors. Like, he doesn't get to affect, especially punt returns, and then now kick returns being, them trying to pretty much eliminate kickoff. Like, he just doesn't get to impact the game. So
it was kind of the same thing with Evan Berry too.
Yeah,
like,
which
I think
he had the king of mismanagement.
Correct, but you just really didn't know where to put him.
Right, but I mean, I think didn't he play defense against is that Northwestern? He almost had a pick 6.
Yeah, but it was, we were beaten.
Well, yeah, but it's like one of those things where, that secondary didn't shine too bright either.
No.
And it's like, so he can't play?
Well, especially in this offense, when we do, the screen game is such a huge part in this offense. Why not? And they tried to do a screen. They did the reverse, tried to do a screen. Maybe kind of threw it too high for him. But, yeah, I like that. I think if you put him in the game, even if now that you did that and people know
for him.
Exactly.
And that's one of the things too, is I was about to say, unfortunately, Tennessee doesn't rotate a lot of wide receivers throughout the game. Usually, obviously, yesterday was an exception. It almost seems like if you did throw D. Williams out there one play a game, you just make a defense respect that speed out there. And I think you have that with a few of Tennessee's receivers anyway, so it wouldn't be just like this glaring thing you do. But when a guy that fast, that dynamic comes in, like the secondary, the coaches are aware of what, where he's at all times kind of situation. Now, Michigan, they probably know the ball's not coming to him, but that's just a different story all in all. So,
yeah,
just don't worry about that.
And scoring 3 touchdowns on defense is fun. I think we should try to do that every week.
That's crazy. That's the first time I would have guessed Western Kentucky in 2013 it was just 2. I would have guessed it was 3. They had there were so many turnovers. I want to say there were like 3 possessions in a row with turnovers. I would have thought they had 3 defensive touchdowns that day. So yeah, that's crazy. That's the first time that's happened.
I want to know how often it's happened where a number 9 scores on offense and a number 9 scores on defense.
Okay.
I think that would be interesting to find out. I don't have the time or the patience to try to even know where to start to look that up.
Yeah, that would be a pretty insane stat to try to track down. Yeah. I would say there's a good chance it's happened once, just because probably a safety or DB's worn 9.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas Tennessee's was obviously a defensive lineman, so that's kind of makes it seem more odd.
Well, I was thinking so Callaway was 9 in 2016 before he changed to 1. So it wouldn't have been in the same game, but I know Derek Barnett did have a touchdown, correct?
I probably, if I had to guess, but
he had a strip sack against Georgia in the end zone, right?
Did he recover
Maybe he did recover it. I don't know.
I want to say there was a strip sack, and I can't remember who recovered it, but I want to say Derek Barnett had a strip sack but didn't recover one.
Gotcha. So that might have been it. I thought there might have been a chance that it was in the same season, but I don't think. It definitely wasn't in the same game. So
yeah. Obviously that's a pretty crazy stat, but I don't even know again how you begin looking for that one.
Yeah, no.
I know we've kind of talked about some guys who impressed, but let's name them off. Just so we, just so we have them in the books.
Yeah.
Put them on the transcript.
I'm gonna go Elijah Simmons.
Oh yeah, little junkyard dog.
Dude,
you just like that helmet.
Oh man. I mean, dude,
he's fight in him.
He's a force. And he's really athletic for 340 pounds.
Yeah.
Quick, can move. I mean, usually like we've seen, like, I shouldn't say we've seen guys that big because that's not really true, but we've seen like huge guys that like when the ball gets past them, it's like, it ain't up to me now. But dude, he ran back and like destroyed, I think, Danico Slaughter or one of the guys in the secondary. I think it was like an underneath route. They caught it. The DB was like wrapping them up, and Elijah Simmons just came and hit both of them. So I do love that. I just think he got after it. And somebody who has dealt with a lot of injuries since he's been, so it wasn't really a young guy, but a guy that I think can really help this defensive line and be in that rotation. And I thought he played well, especially on rewatch. I didn't really notice it a ton because the game kind of runs together when you're switching guys every single.
It's hard to notice who's in and out completely. Like I didn't notice D. Williams was in until he got his
name called.
Yeah. So, actually, I might have noticed it before because I think someone mentioned it. So it was right before his catch, actually.
Yeah.
But I didn't notice he was in. I'll mention a young guy, and I think you talked about some of these older guys. Like I thought, real quick, just like Tyler Barron played really well. I mean, as he should, and he continues. He's a guy that continues to get better each week. I thought he played really well, and I'm not even.
He's become one of the best players on this football team.
Yeah, and I'm not even talking about his touchdown. He's in the backfield. He's wreaking havoc. Love to see it.
He was huge on that goal line stand. He was the one that had that tackle for loss on second down.
Mm-hmm. But young guy was, and this one's a little frustrating for me, but it's Ricky Gibson. Thought he played really well. He was covering a ton of ground. He had a tackle for a loss, like just all over the place, and did well in the few pass coverages. And I'm just sitting here thinking, like, we shouldn't have seen him before this date.
Well, you did see him against Florida.
A little bit, right?
Yeah, not a whole lot, but yeah, that game wasn't good for anybody on defense.
No.
So.
But yeah, he's
that was
it. It's exciting.
I think he's
that
definitely earned some playing time, and he wasn't in the game just because we were substituting. He was in the game like with the starters at times.
Yeah, he played later in the game as well, but yeah, he rotated sooner, and obviously right now there's just a lot of question marks in that secondary due to, I mean, obviously Kamal Hadden going down has thrown some questions in the air. I hope he's an exciting player. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Hope he continues to be.
I thought Jeremiah Thielander plays well every time he's in the game. He's a tackling machine.
He's going to be junkyard dog status soon. He plays a little reckless, I think is the right way to say it. But man, he's running hard.
Yeah, he just looks like he's a dirty linebacker.
Yeah. You're gonna see a little twisted action at some point in his career.
He doesn't seem like the very like armband, wristband, spatic cleats type. He just seems like
he won't have sleeves on next week.
Yeah, just a bland, like very Wisconsin linebacker-esque.
You need one of those.
Yeah.
Every team needs one.
Mm-hmm. I also thought Jordan Thomas played well.
Yeah.
And he played well at that star position. I guess that's where he'll play next year. Maybe safety. Yeah, one of those positions Jordan Thomas is going to be at. I thought he played well. In the time he got to play. Now, Caleb, let me ask you a question.
Go for it.
Who do you think? There's two players.
Okay.
Who do you think played the most snaps yesterday?
Okay. Oh! I thought you were going to give me options.
Oh no, just two starters. Who do you think played the most snaps?
It was the two starters.
Yeah.
It's got to be an offensive lineman. Or is it? Oh, is it one offense or? Give me a hint.
Well, just go defense.
It's both defensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
Starter, I would think Tyler Barron might be one. Is Elijah Herring technically a starter right now?
Yeah.
Then probably Elijah Herring.
No, neither one.
Neither of them.
It's. You want me to go ahead and tell
I
you?
mean, yeah, I got it. I mean, I could go through the 11.
It's the two safeties.
Interesting. I don't know if I love that, but
yeah, I mean, they played 40 snaps. It's like, good God, guys. Like, you can't throw anybody else in there at safety.
yeah, probably would have been a good day to get some fresh looks. But
Yeah,
actually, I mean, that makes sense for Nicola. He did seem to kind of be all over the place, so that makes sense.
He played well. He did.
But you also probably saw him a lot more than anybody else.
Those two guys are gone next year. You don't want to get any more guys, any more reps, and maybe they just don't have the bodies. I don't know what the injury report looks like past, the second team, but Jordan Thomas, you could have played him. You could have John Slaughter, maybe.
Yeah. Don't love that.
On Turrentine played some. I don't know. I just feel like you should get more. They shouldn't be the leading guy. And Elijah Herring, I would be okay if he led the team in snaps. He's a sophomore.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he wouldn't have shocked me because he's probably going to run with the young group. And then I figured he was listed as a starter, but wasn't sure. Honestly, I don't think I looked at the depth chart since probably week 1.
Well, it's the same.
yeah, and I just get not the same if Elijah Herring's starting, Landon. A lot of wars, just don't want to cloud my brain with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that one wouldn't have surprised me. Run with the young guys, and then Tyler Barron just felt like he was out there a lot late in the game, and that's why I guess him.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Just those two. I mean, of course, Willie Martin.
And both of them too, not just one of them.
Yeah. We got some questions real quick. We can go ahead and ask those. So the first question in here, I don't even know if it'll let me scroll up. Maybe.
I can't see that many comments, so that one.
Yeah. How big of a fan are y'all of Lane Kiffin this week? I mean,
I'm not a fan, but I would be happy if he'd go and win this. I mean, I don't know. Obviously, I want a chance to play for an SEC championship game if that opportunity presents itself, but we still got to take care of business on our end. So just whatever happens this week happens. And
Tennessee wins, and then we'll find out because they're the night game, right?
I honestly don't know.
Yeah. If Tennessee wins on Saturday, then I guess we technically we cheer for Ole Miss.
Yeah, I'd prefer just neither of those teams to win it, honestly. So
yeah,
whatever.
And then Tim Taylor said, "Go Vols. Thank you, man. Can you please tell me if we're better than number 17? Thank you."
Well, a lot of people think so now. I don't. Did that many people? I know it was a little bit of a crazy day. Didn't see what happened to who. That was quite the jump.
Yeah.
And I think it's weird that we jumped Missouri in both polls. It's one of those things, same record. They just lost to the number 1 team. Like in my poll, I would still have Missouri, even if it's one spot ahead of Tennessee, one spot ahead. Like let it work itself out in a week.
Yeah.
Like if I'm a Missouri fan, I'm definitely asking the question why that happened.
Yeah, I guess you technically have to drop them after a loss. I don't know. I would like to know what's the criteria there? Like, if you lose, you have to drop. Is that a thing? And how many spots?
I mean, I don't think it's necessarily. It doesn't. If that was the rule, it wouldn't make much sense to me. But you could drop them to 14, where Tennessee's at in the AP, and have Tennessee at 15.
Well, it's like when we lost to Georgia last year, and went from 1 to 5.
Yeah. Although we didn't look great in that loss.
No, but
Missouri looked fine.
It was on the road.
Missouri looked good in their loss, as good as you can in a loss.
Yeah.
So, and their loss to LSU, kind of sucked. But I mean, LSU looked really good that week, and LSU looked good for 2.5, 3 quarters this week.
I guess it's because the two decent teams and they've looked fine. Like that LSU game was closer. They just had a late pick 6 to make it
right. Shout out to LSU for covering.
Yeah, shout out. But it just I don't know. They haven't really the two teams that like they've played that are supposedly like good teams. They've lost to.
Yeah, you could make that argument with Tennessee though. And one of them, only one of them was a good team. The other ones, everyone in the country should agree they're not going to because they hate Tennessee. But Tennessee had no business losing that football game.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those things like doesn't make sense to me. They remember what you do in November.
There you go.
Tennessee didn't lose those in November. Just let it work itself out this week. Why not? And then, Oklahoma State, I don't know what they were ranked before. They jumped Missouri, though, after at least in the AP poll. It's just weird. The rankings are weird. I don't know. I mean, I'm not mad that Tennessee moved up. That's obviously exciting, kind of even more of a chance to – you can control a lot of your own destiny at this point. It still relies, obviously, on Georgia crapping the bed this week a little bit. But, I don't know. It's one. It just goes into the AP poll. Doesn't make sense to me.
Well, coaches poll has
coaches
what?
12, but we moved up less spots though too. Still doesn't make sense for us to jump Missouri, but we did just move up 4 spots in the coaches.
But the question is, like, are we better than 17?
Yes.
I think we're right where we are.
We're better than 17, but we're probably, I would put us around that 15 to 13 range, kind of depending on how you work itself out. 16 to 13 range. I don't think it's 17 last week wasn't a criticism to me. Like, I think a lot of people maybe took it that, not a lot of people, some people took it that way. I feel like 17 was probably like, yeah, Tennessee's got to go win some ball games and need some other people to lose ball games.
Yeah. I mean, there's teams like around us that I think we're better than Oregon State. I think we're better than Louisville.
We're probably better than Oklahoma State.
Utah. I think
Utah would be an interesting one just because their defense is pretty good.
I think we're better than Oklahoma.
I think we're better than Oklahoma. I agree. They're just a really weird team to me, though.
We're definitely better than Kansas.
LSU would be another fun game this year, man.
Oof. I don't want to play that offense.
No, I don't. No. But I mean, at that point last year, we were really nervous when we played them.
I mean, their offense right now is exactly like, I say that like I don't want to have to like face them. I'm sure that was how people thought about us last year.
Yeah, probably.
With Hendon Hooker and Jaden Daniels, and they got Malik Neighbors. We had Jalen Hyatt. I mean, it's kind of very similar. Their defense can't stop a nosebleed, but
right.
It is very similar to what Tennessee had last year.
Right. And just to get on about the refs in a game that I prefer Alabama to lose, but I didn't care who lost that game. I don't understand targeting. I don't know what a horse collar tackle is. I just don't get it. And it just blows my mind that those happen on the quarterback, like the most protected guy in the game.
Yeah, especially like a Heisman candidate too. Like, yeah.
The targeting, I'm not saying it was a dirty hit, but by the rules of the game, I just don't get how it's just frustrating. A lot of people, like, I'm okay with, for the most part, taking some targeting out of the game, some aspects of it, but launching to the head or neck area, he launched to the head or neck area. Like, he led with his face mask, but he jumps up at him.
Yeah.
He launched to the head or neck area. I don't get how it's not targeting.
Yeah. It sucks because it's not egregious, but it's still like the definition of
a lot of teams are going to get flagged for that, and then they're going to review it and call it targeting.
Because like there's some where like you see a hard hit like in the secondary usually, it's like, okay, that was definitely egregious in targeting. That wasn't, but
if Shiloh Sanders was targeting, that was targeting.
Yeah,
they both went to like this, essentially the same area.
Yeah.
Well, his call was horrible, but where I'll start to agree with it is like he does jump at his upper ball, like at his head. Like that's where you're going to lose that battle. I thought that's where you lost the battle, but now I question.
Yeah. I mean,
like now I'm like,
his hit looked like a blindside block more than anything.
And like his was much more of the shoulder than Dallas Turner's.
I had a great kind of explanation with my wife the other day. So she asked me what a blindside block is. So I was trying to explain to her, And her response was like, why don't they just pay attention?
I mean,
I was like, that's a great point.
You're not wrong.
She's like, aren't those like those are what people put on like their highlight tapes and stuff? I was like, yeah, now they're flagged, so they can't really do that anymore.
And I don't disagree with the spirit of the rule, but the way it's enforced is so dumb because like you essentially can't touch them.
Yeah, if they're not looking at you.
Yeah. In high school,
name.
Yeah,
Caleb, I'm coming.
Honestly, if they did that, I'd be okay with that. Just be like 11. I'm about to find you.
Yeah,
just a little warning whistle. Like in high school, I know, and I think it's the same rule in college. Like as long as you lead with your hands, like I like the spirit of that rule because you can still block and hit people hard there, leading with your hands. But it seems like just anything kind of hard, they're gonna flag, no matter if you led with your hands or not.
Yeah.
And then they've started flagging guys that just kind of stand there in their way. And I get that's a really hard judgment call to make, but if you can review targeting, why can you not review that? Like the guys that stand in the way, I've seen people get flagged for it. In fact, I think that one on Elijah Herring against Austin P, the second one, the first one was so bad. Dude probably could have gotten called for targeting on that first blindside block on Elijah Herring. The second one, the dude runs into him, but he pulls up and kind of just stands there, and they flagged him for it. And then reviewed it for targeting. And so I just don't, it's like the spirit of the rule is good, but they don't enforce it well at all.
Yeah.
But I do agree with Raven at the end of the day. Like, you're on a football field. I don't like the defenseless thing. I don't love because I'm like, you're on a football field. Should you ever be defenseless? You should know you could get hit at any moment.
I think the only thing is like the receiver thing, like looking at the ball and just getting like your head blown off. But it's also like, hey, have a better quarterback.
Like if your quarterback's throwing you hospital balls, that's on your quarterback.
Yeah.
I know this. Brody Rollins never threw me a hospital ball.
No.
He didn't throw me many balls, but he didn't throw me a hospital whenever. And I love Brody Rollins. It's not a slight to him. It's a slight to someone else. He's my QB1. Yeah, that's but you know, the spirit of the rule I think is good. They just don't enforce them well. Blindside blocking, targeting, they don't enforce them well. Horse collar, they just apparently call it when they want to.
Yeah.
I just so correct me if I'm wrong. If you grab them by the collar and pull them down that way, whether it's a throw, because people will argue he didn't pull him down, but you can't just throw him down like that, right?
I thought it's like anytime you put your hand like inside that like shoulder pad, it's a flag.
I thought if you just like I've seen it, I feel like I've seen it get called just if they get him by the jersey up there. No, I think the rule says inside the shoulder pad, but I feel like I've seen just like anything high on the jersey, you pull them down that way, you're gonna get flagged for it.
Yeah, I have seen some that are like
grabbing the jersey up there.
Yeah.
Which I'm not, again, I don't hate that rule. Like that is a hard tackle that doesn't feel necessary all the time. Like the one last night was not necessary. Yeah. I just don't know what it is. I just don't know. I don't understand the rules of football.
Yeah, the moral of all this, Alabama's a good football team. They don't need any help.
Yes. I mean, that's absolutely correct.
So
I also got blocked by a fan today who said, how did Alabama benefit from any penalties inside Neyland Stadium? I pointed him to the interception that we got called for PI when it was our guy that got destroyed. Immediate 3-point swing. Then they always go back to that interception. And I'll always say, and you may or may not agree with this, Landon, that PI, is it a little ticky-tacky? Sure. Is it always called? Absolutely not, as we've seen this year. But by rule, it was a PI. It was pass interference. Like it wasn't like there was a phantom call there. I don't disagree that it doesn't always get called, and it sucks it got called there, but it wasn't a phantom call.
Yeah. I don't know.
Whereas Alabama, a ref in the game, in that same game in the end zone, just saw a Alabama wide receiver collide with somebody, and he just assumed we committed the penalty. He didn't. He obviously wasn't watching what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't watch Tyler Barron get clotheslined this year either. I'm
going to change my my chalkboard there to just, instead of it's football time in Tennessee, rules I don't understand, and I'll just keep adding them as they get more confusing. Fair catch, pass interference,
holding.
Yes, but I think that's more just refs are idiots than anything else. I think I have an understanding of the rule.
They don't.
I'm not sure. Jury's still out on that one. Certainly not with the guys in orange jerseys. I did find out that tearaway jerseys are illegal in college football now.
Oh.
So that's going to be a tough rule to get around. Maybe they just rip it a little bit. So it's not technically a tearaway jersey. Like it's not like the classic tearaway. They just get in there on the inside and just cut the seams a little bit. So when he gets held, it tears away. And they're like, we don't have tearaway jerseys. They're just holding us that bad.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah.
But yeah, they are illegal. So what are you going to do?
Did you see where USC fired their defensive coordinator today? Alex Grinch.
They have a defensive coordinator or had a defensive coordinator?
Yeah, he wasn't very good.
Well, he was spending, the dude was trying to figure out how to artificially make rain more than anything else.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to take up a lot of his time. There are government entities working on that right now. They haven't figured it out.
Yeah.
Water.
Good
for them making moves. Maybe they left him on the tarmac.
Any more guys that impress you in this game?
I'm going to be honest. I don't know really what we've all talked about. So that's a really hard one. I think we've talked about Nico. I mean, the few times we got to see him, he looked good. I will say,
escape a pocket.
Let me criticize for a moment here. We can't go away without correcting something. Can someone on staff please teach that man how to slide? If we get a knee injury because Nico doesn't know how to hit the ground, I'm going to lose my mind. What quarterback is it in the NFL that's learned how to fall again? Who was that? We got to teach Nico how to fall.
Are you talking about the one on his run?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what that was. I feel like he just got like a little bit of.
I think he was in between whether to slide or not. And by the time he decided it, was so late that he looked unathletic.
Yeah.
Doing it. I know how to fall. I've taken
that was a sniper. I mean, no one was around him. Maybe he thought he was like, dude, I've been running for a while. There's no way I'm not getting just.
Yeah, I'm going to get hit in a second.
Yeah.
I know how to fall, though. So if you need someone on staff to work on the tearaway jerseys and someone to teach them how to fall, that's me. I've taken some falls and people are like, you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I kind of did that on purpose. Like you get to a point where you're like, I'm going to fall and hurt myself, or I can just kind of gracefully do this and, absorb some impact. So I've gotten pretty good at it.
This is a real question, and not just because I'm not a huge soccer fan. Do y'all is there an art to falling in soccer?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It's also it's not just knowing how to fall, it's knowing when to fall, because you've seen it, and it's obviously always going to be more glaring on camera, but you've got to learn, and people are going to take this as diving, but it's one of the aspects that I think Tennessee's defensive line can kind of learn of. You got to make sure the referee sees what you want what you want him to see. Yeah. So when a guy when I know I have an opportunity to make a play, go score, get a pass into a good area, I'm not going to go down at the first point of a foul or contact. I'm going to play through and try to make the play happen. But if a foul takes me off the ball or puts me in a bad situation, I'm going to try to make the ref see it. And the best way to do that is to fall, do something that it's clear that the guy fouled me. And so you get the bump, or you get whatever it is, you get hit in the leg. And so you learn how to not only how to fall, you learn when to fall. Those are key aspects to making sure the ref sees what you want him to see.
Okay, so Nico should maybe just go to a practice with the Tennessee soccer team.
No. This isn't. See, this is something that you can't really it's. You can learn it, but it's much more of a individual craft. You can't teach a whole team how to do it, and you don't want to teach a whole team how to do it. You want your forwards and your center mids to know how to do it. Because those if your whole team's doing it, the ref's going to only see your whole team falling down. You just need a few key people. It's individually. Okay. Your whole team's falling around, not good.
Maybe he goes and does base running with Tony Vitello and the boys.
Yeah, probably not a bad idea.
A little bit.
Yeah, would it be not be awesome to see a quarterback just only slide in the second?
Yeah,
that's the only slide they have in their bag.
I think my favorite thing about this, and it's kind of on the same topic here, about this game was when Aaron Beasley got his interception and ran it back, and the dive at the pylon. That's the best play in football.
Oh, yeah. He was going to do that if he had to or not.
Yeah, in NCAA, you literally run to the pylon just so you can do that dive at it.
Were you sitting with us when we talked about that? I don't even know if it was on that Aaron Beasley play. I was like, yeah, in NCAA, I would run to the pylon so they would do that dive.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. No, I was not there when y'all
Okay.
were talking about that. But
It might not even. It
Great minds.
probably was because I can't think of another play it would have happened on that we would have started talking about that. But yeah, we mentioned that.
Yeah.
And real quick on the soccer topic, if you see that's another kind of art form, you don't want people to ever accuse you of flopping. So you don't want to draw too much attention to yourself when you do it.
Yeah, you don't want to oversell it.
And you can't do it like the first time you get touched in the game either. You do it after, the ref sees you take a couple hard hits, and so they know how you play. And so then your next fall, like they're like, oh, if he went to the ground, something happened. Beep. Yeah. You got to be conscious about it, man. Working the refs it's part of every sport, right? Like you're in the batter's box, and Drew Gilbert had a little bit of different approach to it, but you work those guys.
Yeah. When one's like inside, definitely a strike, but you like stretch out like you're moving away from the ball. Yeah.
If you do that the first time, you may or may not get it. So you don't do it the first time. You wait. You wait for your time in the game. You know when it matters, and that's when you use it.
Yeah. Anything else with football?
I don't have anything else for Tennessee other than we've got 2 more games in Neyland.
2 more games, yeah.
Tailgates are going to be fun. We weren't there this week. If you stopped by, you might have seen a small party going on. Shout out to Jesse for keeping it alive. But we went and saw our good friend, former coach, OG, VFL, whatever you want to call him, BG, Bobby Graham. Love that guy.
Cool.
Also, I saw someone say that Bobby coached them. I wonder where at. I know he coached like a younger team before he coached at South Oil, but I don't think that person went to South Oil. That commented.
Yeah, I didn't know that person that commented on that.
And I would think if they did, they would at least know like we went to South Oil.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know who that was, but shout out to Bobby Graham.
Yeah, shout out for hosting, having us. That's our guy. I was going to say Tennessee just took care of business. That was the moral of yesterday. Those are what bye games are supposed to be.
Yeah.
Stress-free. A lot of things happen. A lot of guys play. Get in, get out.
Are you saying buy like bot purchase?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know if you were just dissing UConn. Okay. That makes more sense to me.
Yeah. It's a
okay. Gotcha. Okay. Bought and paid for.
We bought them like a hooker.
Oh. Easy, Hugh Freeze.
Well,
he's getting some good ideas.
I mean, he missed a golden. How much NIL money do you think he tried to promise Hendon Hooker at Liberty?
I don't think they have much more money anymore at Liberty. I think that president spent it all on.
But there was definitely a number that like they couldn't pay that he was trying to just get a hooker.
I think he just like he's throwing numbers out there, seeing what sticks to the wall.
Yeah,
a little bit of Florida action.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying we can pay you this, but we'll promise you this at least. We are going to talk some college football. Before we do that, though, guys, I do want to tell you about our good friends at Memento. It's a new app that we are we're partnering with. They're sponsoring the pod. It's exciting. I love it. I know Joey mentioned. I was trying to see if I could do it on my phone. I don't know if you can share your screen on your phone to where we can like show you the app, show you how to upload. So that's something we're gonna have to workshop. I thought it'd be easier. But Joey, have you downloaded the app real quick before I talk about it?
I'm waiting for it. I thought we were
okay.
I mean, I'm ready.
I don't know if we can show, but here's how easy it is. Joe's gonna go download it using the link right now. Make sure you use the link. You got it. Hey, we need the link, guys. We need the link. That's all we ask of you is to use the link. But Memento, guys, it is an awesome app. It is an app for sports fans who love going to games. It allows college football fans to track the games they've been to, see their stats, upload photos, game ratings, and tag friends they went with on top of college football. Memento also supports college basketball, NFL, NBA, MLB, NHL, and global soccer. I love it. It's been a ton of fun. I have not entered the UConn game. I was going to see if I could do that tonight. Unless this is going to be hard because it echoes. Can you hear the echo?
Not right now.
Okay. I'm going to see if I can show you guys kind of how it works, but I don't think it's going to let me present from my phone, unfortunately. But yeah, it's very cool. I mean, I'm going to go in and do UConn tonight. I'm going to tag Landon, who I went with, the rest of our buddies, because they have downloaded the app because they not only support the pod, but they love the Memento app. Everyone I've talked to has thought it's really cool. There's a lot of there's a lot of apps that I will not do free pub for, but that are doing similar things. And I love this concept. And I love how Memento has executed it. That's how fast it was. I'm not even done with the ad read.
Downloaded the app, signed up, phone number, name, follow Joey Boots on Memento right now.
Boom.
Oh, yeah.
Go do it. Add me at Caleb Mitch. I want to see what games you've been to, what games you're going to, all that good stuff. Who knows? Maybe we'll end up at a game together.
I just followed you, Joe. That was that easy. You're already in there.
That easy. I already got one follower. You guys get followers.
Yeah, you can go to Discover out there, and under contacts, it'll have like everybody that you follow that has an account.
Oh, follow back. Look at that. Look how easy it was for me and Landon to follow each other.
Yeah, and it's also really cool because you can track how many touchdowns you've seen, like in a football game. Let me see. I've had 422 touchdowns. So with Tennessee's offense, that's just going to go through the roof. I don't even know if they're going to have, like in 5 years, if they'll even have a number that high. Like I think they'll have to like change up the entire app because
Josh Heupel's going to break Memento.
Yeah.
Memento, you have some time to be prepared.
Mm-hmm.
We're warning you now. So make sure you do that.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're talking about Memento too, because I talked about this with some of our friends at the tailgate prior to the game, but I know me and Landon have talked about it too. I really want to like do a tour. I saw some guys from Twitter that I follow from, that are volunteer fans that went to the Wyoming Colorado State game. Like those, I'd love to go to. I went to Wyoming. Obviously, there wasn't even turf down; they were redoing it, so I didn't get to see the stadium in all its glory. But I would love to go to do a random stadium tours. Obviously, we're trying to go to all the SEC stadiums, but I want to make it to some of the either like premier college football stadiums or just like stadiums you just got to go to. Think of the Big House, the Horseshoe in the Big Ten. You got the Penn State Whiteout. I want to go to the Rose Bowl. I want to go to which Texas is going to be more likely here in the next few years, but DKR. I want to make it to some of these big stadiums, and how will I even know if I went, Landon, if I don't have Memento downloaded on my phone?
Yep, you got to do it. Awesome app, and get it now before long. Everybody will have it, and you won't be. You can set the trend with your friend group right now if you go ahead and do that.
You want to get in on the ground floor of things. Yeah. Listen, I like I don't have a problem with bandwagon fans.
Also,
do you want to be a bandwagon fan yourself?
I think our banner is wrong.
Oh, we haven't even updated that the whole time. Who did that? Not me.
There it is.
Is it updated now?
I just realized it. I was like 508. That seems very familiar. I think we've already done that one.
It's just I got a bunch, dude. I don't know what's going on in my head, but we were sitting there at Ruby Sunshine Saturday morning. I just got the biggest deja vu. I was like, I've done this before with these guys. This is weird. But yeah, Memento. Make sure you guys go check it out. We appreciate them supporting the pod. We appreciate you all supporting the pod by downloading Memento. You got Joey Boots there. I'm on. Landon's on the app as well. Make sure you add us. If Dylan's not on, we're gonna make him do this next episode. See if he can do it faster than Joey. They've got big time stuff coming up. We're giving away awards here soon, and producer of the year is on the line.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Shout out to Memento one last time.
Yeah. College football. So
what a day, dude. So much fun.
Ohio State Rutgers really close, and then somehow Ohio State covers the spread.
You kind of love to see it for the bet, like for the betting of it. Like you kind of like it. It's fun. It was fun. I'm so glad Wi-Fi's back because we've talked about this. Or Wi-Fi's in Neyland now because seeing games, especially at a game like UConn, seeing the games of interest, scores of interest was always one of my favorite pastimes. Obviously, you're not seeing them live. It's fun to be able to keep up with all these games. I'm kind of convinced that smartphones just ruined it where maybe I didn't recognize that they didn't do it enough always. And then when smartphones came around, you're seeing them scored. So I don't know if that's changed or not, but now I don't care. They don't even need to put that up there because we have scores of interest all the time at our hands, at our fingertips.
Yeah.
And that was a fun one to follow. Yeah, you had Ohio State Rutgers. You had Florida State Pitt. I think Florida State covered, but What's going on with them? Why are they not in the overs club anymore?
I don't know. I mean, Jordan Travis had 360 yards passing, and they only scored 24 points. They must have red zone woes, kind of like Tennessee does. Tennessee did. Let's say that.
Right.
Washington, USC, 52-42. Caleb Williams cried after this. I mean, he is.
I hate that. I hate that people are making fun of him for it because, like, there's a lot of arguments, like people saying he should sit out the rest of the year and stuff. And it's like, I know he's transferred and people want to hate him, but like the dude wants to win, and he, I'm sure he cares about his teammates, and it sucks that like that's become a video of him that's going to get replayed over and over. And then his poor mom, shout out to her for covering his face.
Yeah, that's a mom.
Honestly, like, dude, like what a move. Credit to her.
It's like in that moment, like you're not thinking there's a camera somewhere, like on me.
Yeah.
But
I'm not a Caleb Williams fan. I'm not trying to like defend him.
Moms always know.
I think a lot of the hate he's brought on himself by painting FU on his fingers. A little weird, but that just sucks because like he's a competitor, and I think there's a lot of things out there that people don't think he necessarily wants to compete, and it's clear he does.
And they're losing because of the defense. It's not because of him. He's putting up points. The defense is just giving up more.
I haven't seen his stats compared to last year, but I mean, he's got to have a similar campaign to last year, and he won the Heisman.
Very similar.
Yeah,
it's very similar. That defense is just atrocious. They fired Alex Grinch today. I don't know how he's had a job up to this point. Honestly, I mean it's rough, and it is kind of funny. Like Oklahoma was kind of the same way to an extent, and now he went to a place where their defense is even worse.
Right,
and his chance of winning a national title is even worse.
Yeah.
So
it's gonna be interesting when they get to the Big Ten. Something's got to give.
Yeah, for sure.
Other games of interest. I mean, everyone's gonna have their eyes on Michigan even harder now. Purdue scored 13. I don't know if that's good or not, but it's funny, I guess. Jim Harbaugh is gonna get out of this. They fire Connor Stallions. He's gonna get off scot-free.
Oh, 100%.
I think it was Barrett Sallee threw out a scenario where the Big Ten's going to suspend Jim Harbaugh for the rest of the season. Michigan's going to sue or get like a stay in place. It's going to be in effect, so Jim Harbaugh will be back, and the Big Ten won't fight it, but they'll be able to say, oh, we did something. We tried to do something. Mm-hmm. I also like how everyone's like due process. Since when has the NCAA cared about due process?
I don't know what they do care about.
I don't know what the right thing to do in the situation is, but it's just like, I don't know. It's weird, and I'm just sorry. Like, I'm not saying any of the videos shown have shown that Connor Stallions and Jim Harbaugh had a relationship or what, but he wasn't doing that on his own. Well, I don't know. Maybe he did start doing it on his own, but there's not a lot of analysts who have front row seats to the games. Let's just say that. Like, there's not a lot of analysts standing there with the offense and defensive coordinator, especially both of them in the same game. It's just he was not just an analyst. Jim Harbaugh was very aware of who he was and what he was doing. You can sit here and go, the facts. What about logic? Can we use logic a little bit? Because we don't know all the facts right now. So let's use logic, and let's just say Jim Harbaugh was very aware of what was happening. Maybe he didn't know to what extent. Maybe he thought Connor Stallions was just really good at figuring out the signals on using tape, but he knew that he was very aware that how Michigan was using Connor Stallions. I'll say that.
Yeah, and I want to say, like, I keep going back to what happened in Tennessee, and I know it's two different things, but I mean, Jeremy Pruitt can't coach for a long time.
Yeah.
And so, like, I mean, his whole thing was like, oh, I didn't know my assistant coaches did it, just by themselves.
I mean, that's another thing. Like, lacking institutional control is always going to be thrown back at the forefront of anything that happens in the NCAA.
Yeah. So, I mean, I just hope there is like that a long, drawn out process for Michigan that hurts him, because Tennessee had the same thing. They had that cloud of the NCAA over them for years. and then it still wasn't enough.
Right.
Fired everybody. We fired everybody. We didn't get to keep Jim Harbaugh, we didn't want to keep Jeremy Pruitt, but we fired everybody. Not a single person in that athletic department or that football coaching staff was still there.
Right.
Or still here. And so and we have scholarship reductions. We had to pay a huge fine. There was fear that we were going to have, postseason ban. So I just think that there should be a little cloud. I feel like these are they are different, but they are kind of.
But in terms of the
similar.
situation of like, you can say he didn't know, but at the end of the day, like,
it's cheating.
Institutional control. Dude, the people that sit here and say Son stealing it illegal, I'm not arguing that. Like, I'm not. It's the way they went about it. There's not a single coaching staff in the country that has a laminated sheet with the other team's signals on it. Not a single one. Not a single one. There's no one.
Yeah. There's
no one out there. They may go to.
Have we heard about the Central Michigan thing yet? I feel like we should know if that's Connor Stallions or not.
And like the pictures I look at, I'm like, I don't think it is. But how easy would it for Central Michigan to come out and just be like, that's this coach, and they haven't done that yet. So now I'm like, I don't know what to believe.
Yeah.
Which would honestly, that first off.
But I mean, if you're like,
someone hack his Google Drive, we need the Michigan manifesto so bad. We need it so bad.
I mean, if you have a guy that's like impersonating another coach, I mean, this is worse than something Jeremy Pruitt did that was going to be pretty much legal in a year.
Well, that's why I'm also like, if it is Connor Stallions, Central Michigan got him down there. Otherwise, they'd be like, yeah, it was him on the sidelines. We don't know how. We're trying to figure that out too. No, they're trying to figure out how to cover up that they let him down there. David Humphrey, yeah, you can scout teams, but there's literally a rule for other teams. Like, you can't send personnel to the games to scout teams. Just because they weren't on staff at Michigan doesn't mean they can then go out and hire people and pay for their tickets and their travel to go to other games and scout teams. It was that easy. Every team would be doing it, and every team's not. Like, it's not like there is a rule in place for it. What's the big deal? They were filming signals and then matching it up with the all 22 to decipher team signals, which is just insanity. And the signs aren't like, if you have a chance to watch every single sign come in, match it up with a play, the signs aren't incredibly difficult to decipher. They're difficult to decipher on the fly when things are fast in a game. But if you're able to just sit down and do that, I could figure out the signs. You could, David. Yeah. Landon could. My dog could. He's really good at knowing signs. He could figure it out if you mash it up like that. It's very different than any scouting that goes on. Very different.
Well, and then there's that whole thing where they were giving these signals to opposing teams.
Right, which is insane too.
Yeah. So, I mean, if
which
all
also
this comes out, it's going to be unreal.
Yeah. I mean, it's already been unreal the way it's come out and just the leaks and the sources and stuff, but it's been fun. I love it. Like, this is what makes college football so weird. So I do love that aspect of it, but it's very, they credit to Michigan for kind of finding a little bit of gray area in the sense of like, it's not illegal to steal signs. So why would it be illegal for me to ask someone to go to another game to help me steal signs? But while I say where I'm like, okay, it's clearly not gray, it wouldn't take an expert lawyer to go, well, if you paid for their travel and you paid for their ticket, then you are sending someone there to scout. This is the rule to not break it. So yeah, I mean, hey, listen, you got to find the gray areas and you got to live in the gray. We all try to live in the gray. Mess with the IRS. Don't mess with the IRS.
No.
Don't live in the gray there. Okay, Oklahoma. You kind of talked about that going down. Man, you know my favorite part about this? They've got to renew Bedlam now. They thought they were going to win. That's why they were like, nope, it's done. This rivalry's done. Oklahoma, if you're Oklahoma and you go out at a loss and never try to play the game again, you think Oklahoma's going to tuck their tail and run? No way, right?
I think they should have to give up their name.
So they're Oklahoma State now.
Yes.
Okay, so you think just Oklahoma is like a better name than Oklahoma State or something like that?
I feel like they can't even be like they have to be like a tech. They can't
Oh,
even
they're just Norman University now.
Okay, yeah, I like that. Yeah.
And then Oklahoma State can decide if they want to keep being OSU, they can be OSU, but they get the choice now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the way it should be.
Also, I think we should note Oklahoma, speaking of cheaters, they're named after cheaters. I always need to state that.
The Sooners?
Yeah. Sooners were cheaters.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, they can't drive a carriage.
They cannot. I think it's technically a wagon, but I'll let that go.
Okay.
I don't know the difference between a carriage and a wagon. I don't know where those lines divide, but
yeah. Texas, Kansas State. Going to overtime.
Oh my gosh, that's so dumb.
33-30.
Just went by 4 and I push. I'm out on Malik Murphy officially. Start Arch next week. Can't cover, get him out. Good teams win. What do great teams do, Landon?
They cover.
If you don't want to be great, keep Malik in, I guess. But
They
be great.
Also, Malik Murphy, whatever. But he didn't give up 16 points in the fourth quarter.
I mean, you're right, Landon. He didn't, but he's a quarterback, and ultimately, he's the leader of that football team.
They did win.
They did win, but good teams win. What do great teams do?
Well, they're not great. He's a good quarterback. He's not a great quarterback.
What about Texas A&M?
I was like, man, that's going to be such a good win for us.
There's no way Jimbo makes it through this season.
I mean, they're 5-4.
Texas A&M being on your schedule is a great thing, though, because it always is going to be a good win because they're really talented. Like, they've got a bunch of dudes on their team, but ultimately they're just not good, so you have a really good chance of winning. I'm all for scheduling A&M every year.
I mean, they're probably going to be 6-6 because they have LSU. Yikes.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's not right. They'll be 7-5. Still.
Will they? Because have they played Arkansas yet?
They got Mississippi State,
Abilene, okay.
Christian.
Yeah. They have played Arkansas. And they did win that game. They did get 22 points scored on them by Arkansas, but they did win that game.
7-5, man.
Yeah. It's a lot of money to be paying to go 7-5.
Also,
don't tell Dabo that, but
speaking of Arkansas.
Yeah, that sucks. Good for them. I'm always happy to see Florida lose, but
yeah.
Did you see what Nate Bargatze said about Clemson this week when he was picking? He's like, Dabo likes to yell at kids.
Wow.
Which is it is funny to think that Dabo kept calling him a kid, but still talk to him like that. So that is a funny kind of. You could accuse Dabo of yelling at kids, and if he's like, why would you say that? It's like, well, you called him kid over and over again.
Notre Dame sucks. I mean that.
Well, no. Notre Dame is just Notre Dame. Like, this is just who Notre Dame is.
I know, but I feel like they already Notre Damed it with the Louisville loss. This would have been awesome if after that meltdown that Dabo had this week,
truly,
if they would have lost to Notre Dame too.
I think you got to ask too. Dabo now in the same week has cussed, and then he beat a private Catholic school. I mean, is his relationship with Christ okay?
Yeah,
it's getting questionable here.
I think I might call in the next one and just ask about that.
It would be incredible if I might like him more just for the sense of like I've called him a Joel Osteen type. So if he just took a villain tour and just dropped the whole Christian shtick, if he just went full, just I don't know, just nutso, I think I would have a little bit of respect for him.
I think I'm going to go. I'm going to be T from Oak Ridge and ask him about his relationship with God.
Make it sound like you're driving a really nice car when you do that.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, I'll be
not that your Toyota Camry isn't nice. It's just not what T got for going to Clemson nice.
I'll have my windows down. He'll think it's a convertible.
Oh, real quick. So does A&M, like, when do they pull the trigger on Jimbo? Do you see his record compared to someone through however many games?
Is it identical or is it worse?
Someone's is better. 2 games better. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yep.
And someone wasn't stacking recruiting classes like that either.
No.
Yikes. He's going to blame it on the quarterback, isn't he?
I don't know. Like, I don't know where he goes with this one.
Does he get a pass for that? Surely not. Max Johnson's pretty good.
Max Johnson's got to be the upper half of the SEC quarterbacks right now, right?
Yeah. Because even last year, if Hendon Hooker went down, I still think we're definitely bowl eligible still. We probably win 7 games with Joe.
When does he go? The big question too.
When does what?
Like in the same time period?
Yeah.
You probably, you lose to Alabama. You would have still had him for Florida. I don't know where else you would lose though, because you would have already played LSU. I think Tennessee probably has one less win. They win 10 games last year with Joe, I think.
I mean,
if you lose them at the same time,
it wouldn't have mattered if we. Well, do we had him at LSU? Because that was after Florida.
Oh, that was after Florida. Probably would have been the week he went down.
So
you did have a bye week.
Can he hold like a 20-point lead?
Yeah. Probably depends. So yeah, okay, maybe. So a non-win season at probably worst.
Yeah.
Now this year, if Joe went down, and I'm not saying Nico wasn't impressive this week. I don't know where Tennessee. Because I mean, you saw that Kentucky game, but we knew that was going to be a grind. So it's a grind no matter what. So you don't know.
But also, I mean, kind of on that same thing is like, we probably maybe Kentucky, maybe A&M, but I mean, Joe didn't play good against A&M either.
No, that was a defensive one.
Yeah.
Shout out to Iowa Northwestern.
So
defense.
Now that we're kind of discussing this out loud, are we just one less win
this year?
Yeah.
Probably so.
Yeah.
Probably so. It has a lot of different factors that are hard to determine, but probably so.
Yeah.
Crazy special team stat that my brother told me, and I didn't fact check him. Apparently, we're averaging like negative 0.7 yards per return defensively on special teams, which is insane.
Good God.
That had to be punt yardage, but that is insane.
Heck yeah.
Shout out to Mike Eckler, who
We
also
have the number 3 rushing offense in the country and number 13 rushing defense.
Yeah, that's crazy. Mike Eckler story real quick. So I gave my tickets to a friend, my season tickets. I sat in Z12. Z12 this week. My friend took his son to the game, and they're just sitting there in warm-ups. They went pretty early to watch like the entirety of warm-ups. And they said this guy just walks up to him and looks at his son. He's like, "Hey, you need a hat?" Son's like, yeah. And this guy hands him a hat signed by the entire team. And he's like, I do this before every game. I walk out in the stands and give someone a hat signed by the whole team. And, take this. He's like, just promise me like you'll come play at Tennessee when you're old enough. It was Mike Eckler.
Dang, that's recruiting, baby.
Dude, that's wild that he does that before every game.
That's starting.
I was like,
I love that.
I asked him, I was like, do you know Mike Eckler? Like, how do you end up in section? Because I was like, it looks like that's in L, like in our seats, row 46. Like, it's not low to the stadium.
Probably
running stadium stairs. He's probably sweating his butt off.
Yeah.
And yeah, so he just, I guess, wanders around the stadium, just looks for a young Tennessee fan.
What a guy.
And then he ended up with a hat signed by the whole team.
What a guy.
Or I guess, I don't know if it was the entire, but a bulk of the team at least, if not the whole team.
That's awesome.
For sure. I love Mike Eckler. I that's why I really want our special teams to continue doing good, because he's just one of those guys, like, no matter how, like, obviously you want to be a really good coach, but like, you just kind of want him on your side,
Yeah. I have, so we were walking to Circle Park and we got kind of separated from our group a little bit because of the ball walk.
Yeah, y'all couldn't keep up with me.
Oh, I kept up with you. Other people didn't.
I beat you by like 10 minutes.
Well, I went back to wait on them. They couldn't get across the road. But anyway, so me and Wes were standing there like waiting on them to come by, but they couldn't come by until the buses unloaded everybody.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to sprint across before they rolled up.
And Josh Heupel got out, and it was the defensive bus was first. So he got out, and then the coaches started, and then Wes was like, "Who is that?" And so I started naming the coaches as they walked out. He's like, "Can you do the players?" Dude, I named every single one.
Every single one? I could.
Pretty much.
That's impressive, dude.
Pretty much.
It doesn't surprise me that you could do that, but that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, he's like, "What is wrong with you?"
I shared this story on Twitter. There were, I can't remember what touchdown it was. It happened twice in the game that like I had to stop and think, because obviously I have like notifications on for more important issues, and I had my watch on, that I got a buzz before like there was a touchdown where before the guy was in the end zone, Landon had tweeted out like whoever touchdown. I was like, what? And then Nico coming in, they're all huddled up before he ran out, coming out of a TV timeout. And somebody asked me, like, is Nico in the huddle? I was like, I can't tell. Like, I can't see who's out there. And then 2 seconds later, Landon's like, Nico Tom or whatever. And I was like, is he ahead of us? Like, I'm in the stadium, and I think he might be ahead of us. He's freaking he's Vegas. You can't get the bets in fast enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just a little bit ahead just to get those odds just right.
Yeah. What shirt are you wearing?
It's so the volunteer club had the 2 for $20 shirts.
Oh, okay.
So I bought one of these. It's kind of tight, but this is a beer barrel on it. Pretty cool. I got another one that says like Orange Bowl champs on it.
Is it a pocket tee?
No. There's that I forget what's it called. I don't know, the tri-blend or whatever they are. They just fit me weird.
Yeah.
They're
I do
like
XL. I usually do XL in those.
They're kind of tight.
They're tight in the sleeves, and they usually shrink in the sleeves, especially.
Yeah, so it's a little tight, but oh well. I guess it might. Sometimes it makes me look worse. Sometimes it makes me look better. So whatever. Let's get to basketball real quick, and then we'll get to.
Oh yeah. Whoops! I forgot about
that. Basketball tomorrow. I'm super excited for this team, and I haven't really got to like just. I feel like I'm not ready for basketball season because I'm still in full football mode.
Which I love.
Yeah, but I feel like it's gonna be a good year. I feel like this team's good, talented, returns a lot. And it looks like they've improved some scoring, some shooting aspect to this, some personnel wise. So yeah, I'm excited. And apparently we got news today that Zakai Ziegler will be available tomorrow. I don't know how much. Don't know if
I could see Rick. I think Rick's got a soft spot for our boy. I could see him starting.
I
don't know that he plays a lot in that starting, but I could see that happening.
That'd be awesome.
Because he's been like going, I don't know what level, but like he's been going through practices for a while.
Yeah, I mean he's basically been full speed.
Right.
This
isn't like he just like a week or so ago, like he just got to like practice.
Right. Yeah, I don't know exactly what the
and it would probably be different if we weren't playing Tech. I probably would think different.
Yeah. Yeah. So can't wait for that.
I'm excited to be back in Thompson Bowling, baby.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what the rotation is. I think especially at the guard position, there's just a lot of competition there, a lot of depth, which is a good thing. It's a good problem to have. But yeah, I'm interested like guys like DJ Jefferson, Jemai Mashak. You know, how much playing time do they really get?
Yeah.
Jordan Gainey, it seems like he's been really good for Tennessee, but how much is he a factor when Vescovi and Zakai come back full time?
Right.
I don't know. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. We do have a question about this. So, all everything says prediction for basketball season is Connect our best player this season.
He's probably most dynamic. I think best is probably hard to say, but I would just based on what we've seen so far, I would say he's probably one of your most dynamic ones.
Yeah. I mean, probably offensively.
Yeah.
I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility. I think it'd be cool if I think it's cool if he is, but it's also like if Zakai or Santi is too. I think that's good for this basketball team.
Hey, I think this basketball team, here's why I think they could be pretty special. You've got a lot of guards that are really talented that can score. Then you obviously have Dalton Connect. You also have maybe some like retro Rick at Tennessee vibes with Tobe Awaka, Jonas Adu. Like you got some guys that can play on the inside. You got some what we'll call like panic button, throw it into him, let him score. Tobe Awaka, he's gotten buried in the news from all these guys coming in and looking really good. It's Kai Ziegler coming back from injury. Tobe Awaka, I don't forget number 11. He's a star.
Yeah, I mean, he played 9 minutes the other night, had 11 points.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a freak. And when like you see him, like he is kind of that underrated, just doesn't look like he's not a 5-star
Right.
basketball body that you see. Like he's an admiral, a guy that can just bang around in the paint and just gets a ton of rebounds and is just so efficient around the rim.
Yeah.
So
And I don't want to put too much stock on this guy because I mean, I think what you see is what you're going to get out of him, and I think we get a ton from him. I'm not trying to like dog him. I hope it doesn't come off that way, but I think this team's going to really fit who Josiah Jordan James is. He's got a ton of guys around him that can play, and he can kind of be that, you know, that to use a baseball term, he can be that utility guy. Like he can kind of go where you need him to go, where you don't need him to be the guy. Like he can go and just
you're not asking him to score 20 points. Maybe he gets 10 to maybe 7.
Yeah, he can fill gaps this year rather than like filling voids.
Yeah, has a ton of rebounds, gets some steals, 7 assists, something like that. He's just fills up the stat sheet. But yeah, you're not asking him to, be the leading scorer on this basketball team.
Yeah, and then Jemai Meshack, dude. Let's not forget how he filled in for Zakai last year. Jemai Meshack, I'm pumped for him.
I mean, I'm excited because like we have scoring, but dude, this defense is still going to be disgusting.
Yeah, we might see some ugly games just on the fact of like our defense is going to wreak havoc.
Yeah.
Which is fine with me if it's because our defense is going to wreak havoc.
Right. But prediction, I mean, this team it should be an Elite 8 team, but I mean, you got to get there.
Right.
I would say Sweet 16, and then you see what you got again. But I think this team's better than last year.
Yeah, I agree. Much more fully built. And Jonas Adu should be better. I think getting a more experienced Tobe Walker is going to be huge as well.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else then on that note?
Yeah, not a whole lot. No, I'm
all right. Most important of the week. What do you got? I'm going to have to.
Joey, you're welcome to get in here too if you want to.
Do some.
I was gonna say Josh Dobbs. I mean,
Nice.
Getting that win. Didn't take a single rep with the offense in practice. No stats from Garrett Bradbury. Had never thrown passes to anyone and didn't know most of their full names.
Which saying full names is pretty hilarious.
Yeah. And speaking of that, I guess we'll just stick on that note of Vols in the NFL. But Byron Young, 2 sacks today, tackles for loss, 10 tackles against the Packers. Now, the Rams did lose. They're terrible offensively, but Byron Young is a bright spot on that football team.
It ain't Byron Young.
It ain't. No.
It ain't his fault. Let's see. Most important. I've got one. I was going to.
We did have one more question, too, about Charles Greer said, what's going on with West? Haven't seen him in the past 3 or 4 games. I think he's talking about Tyree West. He did play this week. I don't know about last week. I think he's kind of down on the rotation a little bit. But, he did play some yesterday against UConn. Joey, you got any most important?
I do. I got one. Adam Long, player on the PGA Tour, player this weekend, hit 56 of 56 fairways. That is
stupid.
Insane.
Those fairways are like 30 yards wide, if that.
Yeah,
I played golf for like 5 months, and I don't think I've hit 56 fairways.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can. Caleb's always been able to understand that, Landon. You can appreciate that now. That's ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
If I give you 4 rounds of golf and you hit every single tournament at Iguani, that's insane. Let alone a PGA course that's got narrow fairways.
If I ever walk out hitting 18 fairways, I'm gonna be so excited, and I probably still shot like an 86. And I'm still gonna be excited.
Yeah, I don't care. It was the first time it happened since 1992 on the PGA Tour, so that's shout out Adam Long, I guess. It's a highlight. That's a career highlight.
I guess my only most important of the week is there was a Louisiana high school football game, and I guess it's just Catholic is their name as well. I'm not sure which Catholic school. They got a 15-yard penalty on their touchdown in overtime. And when they enforced it on the following possession, they put it as 1st and 10 from the 25. But the other school, Catholic argued it. The other school had 1st and 10 on their 25. They argued with the ref. They had a rule book with them, and the refs eventually changed it where it was 1st and 20 or 1st and goal from the 25-yard line. I've never seen a coach win an argument like that. And I love that the ref read it, and instead of being like, no, I was right the first time, don't care what the rule book says, I interpreted it this way, they were just like, yeah, you're right, and fixed it. Because you don't see that often. Yeah. So shout out to the coach for having the rule book on it. I've got a good story about pulling out a rule book and the ref still just doing whatever he wanted to do. So shout out to both sides of that. Hey, read the rules. Rules are in your favor more often than not. Yeah. My other one is Nate Bargatze, one of my favorite comedians, hosting or guest picker on College Game Day. He's he's just trending up. SNL, College Game Day. What's next? Is there anything else you can do beyond this? Come on, more important issues.
Yeah, I guess so. That's your next stop.
That's all that's left.
Fails. My first one is going to be Tennessee being on CBS the next 2 weeks. That sucks.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
No, Siri.
Yeah, I don't necessarily love it, but at least I'll be at one of the games, so I won't care. Next week will suck.
Yeah, and I guess it kind of works out for next week. Like, you probably don't want to be a night game there, especially how cold it probably would be.
So cold.
So it kind of works out. It just sucks. If you have to watch the game the next 2 weeks on TV, that sucks for you.
Yeah, for sure. My first fail, and I won't mention the name, but I'll mention IMG because looks like they made a graphic for him. Big news out of wherever he's from, but there's a 7th grader that committed to IMG this week, and he tweeted about it.
Oh God, don't do that.
So what are we doing? Why do we have 7th graders committing? It's not the kids' fault. It's the parents and the coaches' fault that allow it to happen.
It's not just for football.
He's right. He's probably getting a good education there.
Yeah. Sure, that's what it is. I have Dabo Sweeney after the game when they beat Notre Dame. He said, if Clemson is a stock, better buy all you freaking can buy right now.
Nah, good. I'm selling right now. Sell high, baby. I bought last week, and I'm selling this week.
Yeah,
buy low, sell high.
I mean, imagine if like you had the stock like when they were winning a national championship, and now what the stock would be worth.
You gotta buy all the right time, baby.
Yeah. I guess like it's low, so I guess buy low, sell high. That's what you're trying to do.
Yeah. It's high this week after that win. You got to sell now. He's wrong. He doesn't know how to work. He doesn't know how it works. Mine is Texas A&M defensive lineman Shamir Turner. Actually, I don't know. He was just getting a little handsy. Show me in the rule book where you can't touch another guy's penis.
Dude, that was a full-on – that was a dong punch.
Twist it! He twisted
it. Dude, what in the world? Also, Ole Miss offensive lineman, don't hold your hands up while somebody's grabbing your penis. That's weird.
He just said, listen. My next one is Jimmy Himes.
God.
Tennessee's fake injuries on extra point is an absolute embarrassment. That's 3 versus UConn. UT fans or coaches should never complain about opponents' fake injuries again. I mean, I don't disagree, Jimmy. It's pretty funny. I don't know if embarrassment's the right word. It's pretty funny, but they're not. I mean, they do it. Tennessee does it, so I'm not saying they don't do it. But in that situation, they're not doing it to slow down the offense. But Tennessee does do that. So I don't get why we boo injuries. I also don't get why we boo injuries because you just look like an asshole when someone's actually injured. But I digress. That's just a dumb tweet to send. Also, you're retired. Can you just stop? We don't have to hear from you.
He said something about a 12-year-old too, didn't he?
Nice to hear from a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if I tweeted about it. I was like, oh yeah. I was like, I checked to see if that was a Jimbo tweet before. I was like, it wasn't. I kind of respect it.
Yeah, Jimmy Himes might be losing it.
I think he's just he doesn't have to, doesn't have to keep toe the line anymore for WNML, and so he's just letting it fly, and I kind of respect it to a degree. I still think he's an idiot, but I respect that he's being funny.
Yeah. But yeah, who cares if there's no rule behind it? Hey, if that's your way of getting your defense a little extra break, who cares?
Absolutely.
I mean, like, use the game and the rules to your advantage, and I love that they do that.
Honestly, I think it's a great move by Josh Heupel too, because he's kind of telling the NCAA, if you're not going to punish fake injuries, here's how it's going to help our offense.
Yeah.
Or help our defense, I guess, really.
Yeah. Which then gives us a short field to help our offense. So,
yeah.
Yeah, I love this.
Absolutely.
And also, like, if you don't want us to do that, don't let our offense score so fast. That's all I got. Great show, long show, but we had to talk a little bit of basketball, and then I don't know, time just gets away. We just love ball.
Yeah.
Guys, go check out Roback, roback.com. Use promo code More Important Issues to get 20% off your first purchase. You got great quality polos, quarter zips, hoodies, shirts, joggers, shorts, women's wear. Got a whole bunch of stuff. Go check them out. 20% off your first purchase. Promo code More Important Issues.
I was going to say, too, it's nice that Tennessee's in everything school, because as disappointing as it is, football end, you have basketball and then baseball. We really only have like a month and a half of off season now. By the time Tennessee gets done in Omaha.
Yeah, like June, July. You get about 2.
Yeah, I guess you get
July, August.
July, August, yeah.
Yeah.
But like August, like by the time fall camp starts, like in my mind, and I think yours too, right? Football season's here.
Yeah. I mean, with
sure,
recruiting
like
and everything, it's like never really over.
Right. But like July, see, that's why I said like a month and a half. July and then getting into August is pretty slow.
Yeah.
Between like dead periods and stuff.
Yeah, that's when we have to schedule all our vacations, because everything like that. Yeah, we got to get all of it in.
Exactly.
I didn't know what to do myself. I picked up golf in that time.
You picked it up earlier than that, didn't you?
Yeah, it was in June.
Okay.
Yeah, it was kind of like right after Tennessee got done, though.
Greatest decision you ever made. Kind of pissed you waited so long, because I tried to get you to do it for years, and then someone else swoops in, pops your cherry instead of me.
I think most of it was just like getting the getting the I just saw that Snapchat of Deuce.
Oh. I've offered you clubs for years, so don't say that. I've offered you clubs for so long.
Well, I also think it helped that like we kind of do play a lot of free rounds too.
Oh yeah, that absolutely helps.
So, and it's helped me like stick with it too. Like being that bad at something. That's the thing that I was telling. We played with Deuce and Squirt's dad the other day, and I was like, I love it. It's just, it's the only sport that I've like played and not just been able to just pick up.
You picked it up faster than you think, though. Like if you go watch other people who've played as long as you do, it's just a hard sport.
Yeah, it really humbles you.
Yeah, but you have picked it up faster than. I mean, like I wouldn't say like the average athlete or anything like necessarily faster than that because there's some people that just take to like that kind of game because the swing just like fits them or whatever. If their putting fit or whatever. But like if you look like at the average person that picks up golf, you're light years ahead of 5 months.
That makes me feel good about myself.
Yeah,
thanks, Caleb.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. Yeah, we'll have to figure out what we're gonna do the rest of the time. Now that it's
I'll play winter golf. Well, I mean, you need to start playing on weekends. I don't know why you don't play on weekends.
Yeah, I probably should play on Sunday sometimes. All right, well, guys, thanks for listening. We'll be back on Thursday, and basketball starts tomorrow. So now we got 2 sports to talk about. Can't wait for that. Have a good week. We're bringing the boat in, and we out.